I looked up top grossing films as well, and there's like a couple of categories like all time, adjusted to inflation, is still Gone with the Wind, is number one. But it was in the top 100, Jumanji 2, Welcome to the Jumanji. I just can't imagine.
So good.
I can't imagine why. Just why?
I don't know. I don't know. It's got the name Jumanji on it, and it's got The Rock in it, and that's all people we needed to know.
That's so sad.
Hello, and welcome to this bonus episode, Patreon-only episode of I Hate Your Movie. My name is Rick.
I'm Dan.
And today we're going to be talking about popular films that we dislike for various reasons.
Yeah. I was going to say that we have our own picks, but now I got curious if there's any overlap accidentally.
I wouldn't have thought so.
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so. I think there may be one.
I think there's maybe two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're going to you're going to name a film and I'm going to be like, yes, I hate that as well. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Some of my picks are quite controversial.
So, yep, I would say the same. And I think my reasons for disliking them are also going to be unpopular.
Yeah, so we looked at the IMDb top 250 list.
Yep, IMDb, obviously rated by the people using IMDb.
Yeah.
Are we starting at least hated to most hated, or are we going?
Ooh, I didn't list them like that.
Okay.
I've got dishonorable mentions, if you want to start with those. So these are two movies and or franchises that are spotted and is considered popular that I think are hugely overrated. Let's start with the easy one. It's Django Unchained.
Okay.
I like that movie. But it is definitely the worst Tarantino film. It goes on for way too long. It ends like 5 times. The jokes don't end, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's no bad Tarantino films, but that is one of the worst. And I've seen it rated higher than most of his films.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was interesting.
It's certainly not better than Pulp Fiction.
No, or Inglourious Basterds, which is my favorite.
I actually disagree with it being the worst Tarantino film. I think Kill Bill 2 was the worst Tarantino film.
What?
Yeah, that was just a mess.
Here we go.
This
episode is fucking changing now. Kill Bill 2.
Yeah.
The best Kill Bill.
It's not the best Kill Bill. The first Kill Bill is the best Kill Bill.
Well, that's the actiony one, and the second one is the drama one.
The boring one, you mean?
God.
That ends ridiculously.
Yeah.
That ends with her doing the 4-point heart punch or whatever it is.
That she learned in the first movie.
It's stupid. For a film that's so action and so stylized.
Yeah.
And to end so stupidly.
You hate that more than Death Proof. Everyone hates that movie.
I don't think I've seen Death Proof.
You wouldn't like it. Do you have any dishonorable mentions?
Aren't they all dishonorable mentions?
I'll say my other one then, because it's a whole franchise.
Okay.
It's a Harry Potter franchise. Do you really like it?
It wasn't special. This is an amazing film kind of way. But I enjoyed them. They were middle of the road kind of. The thing I can never figure out if I like or dislike about them is they don't actually seem to be films. They seem to be just long episodes of an ongoing series. They never properly end until the final film. I
think they're stuck in an interesting position where Just Kidding Rowling was the producer, so she had some sort of say in the movie. It had to be faithful to the books, but it also had to be movie size, and that's the problem, I think. 1, 2, 3 is kind of okay. 3 is the one people cite as the best one. That's the best looking one for sure. It's Alfonso Cuarón. He made Gravity. He makes these spectacular looking movies.
Okay.
But I think plot-wise and how easy to follow it is and how just the overall experience, I like the first 2 actually the best, even though terrible kids acting, just terrible, but just as a movie I like both of those 2 better. But from 3 on, the books become substantially longer, and they try to be faithful while not changing a lot and keeping the same running time. So I can't even imagine for a person who didn't read the books understanding any of that crap, because they run over so much.
I think enough people have only seen the films and they're so popular that that cannot be true.
It feels like the book report. The book report on the film. Like, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. The other reason I don't like the Harry Potter movies is I was thinking about my list and how they connect. And there is a connecting tissue through these movies, which is main characters who don't have any agency, they don't do anything, but everything just happens around them.
Okay.
And that's very true in the Harry Potter franchise, because Harry is not smart. He's not really good at anything other than Quidditch. He's never proactive. He never comes up with plans. Everything just kind of happens around him, and he kind of dumbly agrees to go along with everything. And all the positive change just happens around him.
But that's the Frodo argument. When watching Lord of the Rings, everyone just kind of like, everyone is battling and fighting, and Frodo's generally just there like,
At least Frodo is not set up to be the one. Frodo is supposed to be a regular person.
Yeah, but so is Harry. He just happens to be involved in his parents' murder.
But he is the one, in a way. And then there is a prophecy in the 5th movie when there's a prophecy that either Voldemort will kill Harry or Harry will kill Voldemort. Great prophecy. Wow. I wouldn't see that coming.
The prophecy is this franchise will end at some point.
Yeah. He's kind of like half the special one. To me, it works better in The Lord of the Rings, where it's like you just trust this guy because you have no other choice. And he wins because he is like a regular schmuck. Nobody. But Harry's supposed to be special. He's a special boy. But he's never shown to be anything special. He's always just like, he's just a fucking, I don't know. He's just a mannequin going through life.
He is the MacGuffin of the Harry Potter
Pretty
films.
much, yeah. In the books, he has more agency because you can read his thoughts.
Okay.
But the actions that come out of that, he just does nothing, pretty much. Every, defeat he does is almost like a dumb accident. I don't like when there's, a character and then just things happen around him and he's like, whoa, what an amazing character. No, it's just fucking nothing. The dumb luck guy.
Fun fact.
Okay.
It's not really a fun fact because it's only relevant to me, but because the filming was done nearby, so we live quite close to Leavesden Studios, they took people out of my drama class in school, because I was in school while it was happening, and they took people out of the drama class and they're in the film, in the Great Hall in the thing, and they got made to kind of sit down and look in various directions, pretending there's ghosts there, and have shocked expressions on their faces.
Oh really? You never told me that.
Yeah, going to drama pays off.
Yeah. You didn't go?
No, I wasn't in drama class.
Mm-hmm. So that's about does it for the Harry Potter films.
Yep.
So don't support transphobe Just Kidding Rowling.
Yes. Less said about her, the better.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to go to my first one. And this is a film that people really enjoyed, and they keep telling me how the special effects are amazing, and it was just a non-stop thrill ride, start to finish. For me, it was just the same scene for a solid 2 hours, and it bored the fuck out of me. Mad Max Fury Road.
No!
Oh my god.
No!
Oh, it's just
really?
2 hours of driving. Oh, he's driving, and then, oh my god, there's some more driving. And oh wait, here's some more driving. Oh, I tell you what you haven't seen for a while, some driving. Oh, it's just on and on and on, the same scene over and over and over again.
It's only the best modern action film ever.
The best modern ever.
Yeah. The most modern and the best modern and the bestest.
Yeah, it did nothing. I think I don't really have much more to say than that, because that's all the film was. It was just an action driving scene for 2 hours, and there was
but that's the best thing about it.
There was such a thin plot to it that everybody raved about. Something to do with Furiosa, Charlize Theron rescuing some wives.
Yeah, rescuing these not wives, these are like sex slaves, really. How do you not like the director of Happy Feet, George Miller's
one of his best known work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the fascination.
Everything you said except the bad special effect, which I don't think is true.
I didn't say it's bad special effects. I think it's just like the same thing over and over
Okay.
again. Like there's like people on poles
Yeah.
driving, and then there's people in cars driving, there's people on bikes driving, and
Yeah.
then there's people on a platform driving, there's people playing guitar while driving, there's people playing drums while
They
driving.
talk as well,
and
and then they fight. Did you know it didn't have any script?
Yes, I do know that. That came across very well in
Because
the 2-hour runtime.
All the story is visually told.
Okay.
That's why.
All the story is boringly told.
I really like Fury Road. I think it's a really good action film. It is thin on plot, and it is a 2-hour chase scene, but it's great. And they do drive through very different terrains, to be fair, and see different creatures and different kinds of humans and different type of factions and how they talk and everything. That you kind of learn their futuristic language and religion, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I did not enjoy it.
That's weird.
I will never, ever enjoy it. Number 10 on IMDb's best ever films list is The Good, the Bad and the Ugly.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, by all means. So this is
my actual list.
This is your first hated
Yeah.
film.
Can you read it from there?
I can't, no.
Okay. Matrix.
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Wow.
Yeah. It kind of has the effect what I was talking about with the Harry Potter franchise, which is a character who barely does anything. Not as much, and things just happening around him. Other things like Morpheus, he sets him up for success, and Trinity sets him up for success. But then not as much, to be fair. It's more about that I don't care about any of the characters, so all the action is boring to me. What I mean by that is...
Why don't you care about the characters?
First of all, Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor.
Ooh, that might be the most...
Is it, though? I think people love him, but I don't think they love him for his acting.
Probably not. Like, I recently watched the latest in the John Wick franchise. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good film, but yeah, I agree. He's just like, yeah.
Nothing against the man, but he's terrible. As an actor, he should be, I don't know, like a humanitarian or a kung fu guy, which he learned to do in this, and then he became boring old mumbly man. Yeah, so if I have to put together what I don't like about The Matrix, everyone mumbles. There's no like emotionality in it, you know?
Yeah, I did find with The Matrix that kind of like the love connection between Keanu Reeves and...
Trinity.
Yeah, okay. I did think that the love connection between Neo and Trinity just kind of didn't really have any kind of leveling up.
Yeah.
Kind of set.
You see, but I don't even remember that. So I don't even remember the one thing they tried to do emotionally. Did they try to do some sort of...
At the end, they have this whole thing where he's lying unconscious or he's dead in the Matrix and she's like, but Neo, I love you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
it kind of... I remember looking at it at the time, it's like, you barely know him. Like you've had like almost no connection with him at all for the entire runtime of this film.
I just more mean that everyone seems to be very disconnected and cold, including Keanu Reeves and Morpheus and Trinity. And everyone has this like stone face on, and they just like need that something to fight for, you know? Like Keanu Reeves doesn't have any fucking
fighting
passion.
for their survival.
Yeah.
But it's like people in the trenches in a war film. Like you can't expect them to all be like super connected. They're just there. They're soldiers fighting in a war. They don't need to be like...
That's why Keanu Reeves would have been... If he was a better actor, he would have made this movie much better. Because then, as an outsider looking in, he could have had that passion. If I have to do Matrix, I would play up like his boring job and this and that, and just like get angry about it. Just do something, you know. It's just like I don't know.
I think that's the point. It breaks him out of his monotonous existence and his boringness.
It doesn't though, because he keeps being boring and monotonous.
Okay.
And he just mumbles through the whole movie. Everyone mumbles. And I hate the green tint that was over everything. That's just a visual thing. I admire this movie for its visual effects. Pulled off crazy stunts for comedy movies to rip off for 20 years. For me, a good movie, it doesn't matter what kind of movie it is. Horror, action, whatever, it has to be a good drama first, for me.
Okay.
I have to connect to the characters, I have to understand what they want, what they don't want, and I have to, like, feel something from them to get interested in the action or the horror or whatever extra genre is on top of everything. And I just don't have that with The Matrix.
So I have a question for you. Would The Matrix have been better if Will Smith had been Neo?
I think, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Do you know the story of Will Smith and how he ended up not being in The Matrix?
No.
Fun fact. So Will Smith turned down the lead role in The Matrix so that he could do Wild Wild West.
Waka waka wild wild west.
Wow, wow, wiki, wow, wow.
That's something we have to watch at some point.
Yeah, so as career decisions go, probably not the best.
No, he's doing alright though.
Yeah.
Well, just before the slap, he still did alright. Yeah, he would have been better.
Yeah.
Because he's naturally charming. He's got some humanity in him.
Moving on. A film that I really didn't like that seems to be very, very popular. It was number 106 on IMDb. It's mainly because I don't like gangster films, but I really, really didn't like Scarface.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just horrible. It's about a horrible guy that goes to America and, like, he gets off the bus and he's like, hey, I'm going to be the best criminal I can be. Hey, mister, where does one go to become a drug lord in this town? I didn't understand what they wanted me to feel out of that, like, apart from just anger. From the very start of the film, I just wanted him to die.
Yeah.
I immediately wanted him to die. The fact that it took so long for it to happen pissed me off.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I guess it could be argued that it's like a Breaking Bad kind of situation, even as you're saying, he's like not avoiding crime.
No.
But it's more about a journey, seeing him going through the ranks of how one becomes a drug lord, I think. It's not about relating to him, but just seeing this journey. It's more like a cautionary tale of like wanting more, greed, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember Al Pacino's really good in it, and then I've never seen him being good in anything else ever.
So I do have another Al Pacino film coming up. So I remember when I was in college, I did a media studies thing in college, and we watched this film as part of our course. We had to write a thing on it. And so we all sat in the little cinema that was in the college, and everyone came out and they're like, oh my god, that was so amazing. It was so good. I was like, what fucking film did you watch? So yeah, Scarface, that is on my list.
Fair enough. I do like it, but I understand your perspective.
Cool. Over to you.
Oh god, this will be really controversial. We'll lose all our free subscribers. Forrest Gump.
Oh my god.
Forrest Gump to me is the ultimate guy, does nothing in the movie and everything happens around him.
Oh my god, that couldn't be more wrong.
Really?
Absolutely.
He's and I get that's the point, that he's just like kind of like this guy who moves through life easily, but everything just happens around him and it's really fucking annoying. He never wants to do anything, he never does anything really, outside when he goes to war and saves a couple of people. But like, I'm thinking about when he's like running and he has a really long beard, and then just like he influences everything. He influences the smiley face, he influences the Nike logo, he influences fucking everything. I was like,
but he still does these things.
Does he?
Like, he still gets a job as a fisherman and is one of the only people out on sea when the storm happens, and then they become the only shrimping business in the US or whatever. And then he still does the running. He still runs from like coast to coast of America, which would be an impressive feat.
I know, I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but in terms of like a driving narrative, what the fuck does he want? He's like simple, and he really wants nothing and just wants to be like that feather that gets farted around in the wind, as symbolized in the movie. But to me, that's not interesting to watch. When we just watch like the empty shopping bag from American Beauty, if you get that reference. It's just blown away in the wind, and then there's like fancy wording around it. Wow, look at it dancing. That to me is Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Again, it's like a well-made movie. It's like The Matrix. It even has like impressive CGI for the time with the T-Rex that comes in.
What?
No. I think they. Forrest Gump versus the T-Rex.
Jurassic Gump.
Jurassic episode title. No, is they like plastered. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I think John F. Kennedy's face onto a guy, and it looks pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, things like that. It's a well-made movie. I just don't give a shit. I just don't like it. I was bored.
Did you not think it was well acted, though?
Yeah, it was well acted as well.
Yeah. See, that for me carries a film. If a film's well acted and it believe in the character's emotions, not just Forrest, but all the other supporting, like the guy in the wheelchair, his love interest that has a drug addiction at some point.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, the stuff that happens around him that is well done, start to finish.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Again, it just goes into that thing of just whatever. I need like a driving narrative, you know?
Okay.
Like in Scarface, he wants to be a drug lord. I want to know what a character wants. I want to see things that a character positively does and affects into the world that they want, and then there's some blowback to that. Like interacting with the world, you know? Mm-hmm. And I feel like in Forrest Gump, there's this wall of there's Forrest Gump, and there's people that he influences to be better, or just the things he influences, you know. And there's like a disconnect there for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Bye, patron. It's nice to know you. Thank you for your $1.
What are you laughing at?
Jurassic Gump. Sorry, I'm not over yet. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I was trying to hold it back so much.
That's fine. On the last recording, I couldn't even say my own name without laughing. So,
all right.
Cool. So my next film or films isn't going to be most controversial in terms of like film quality and how well they're made, but it will definitely be the least popular. Mm-hmm. So some films you watch and they're okay. They're fine. Yeah. You know, they're decent films, but you just end up hating them by how overrated they are. Mm-hmm. Best example of this is Avatar, but we're not going to talk about Avatar because that's a whole different story.
It's been talked to death as well.
Yeah, exactly. But these films are so popular, I get so fed up of hearing about how great they are. And these films are Snatch and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay. I know I haven't seen the second one of that, the Lock, Stock and Barrels.
Yeah.
I did see Snatch, but fuck me if I remember anything about it, other than I think a young Brad Pitt as a gypsy, and then a young, what's that guy's name? He's a transporter.
Jason Statham.
Yeah, a young Jason Statham, yeah.
Okay.
I don't even remember if I liked it or not. It's been so long.
So I did like it. When I first watched these films, I enjoyed them. They, you know, I sat there, I thought they were funny. I thought the dialogue was good. I thought they were well made. They were clearly done on a budget, but they made the best of it. But there is this weird phenomenon that if you walk up to any British male and you mention Lock, Stock or Snatch, they will immediately don a Cockney accent and start quoting the film at you endlessly for no good reason.
I didn't know they were so popular here.
Yeah, they are. And so I've done tests with this. I've actually gone up to people when Lock, Stock and Snatch are mentioned and they go, "Oh, have you seen it?" I'm like, "No." And they will still be like, "Yeah."
Go on, do your best Cockney accent.
And they're still like, "Yeah, you fucking cunt." Apples and pears, all that kind of stuff. And it cannot be stopped. Even if you haven't seen the film, they still quote shit at you. "Yeah, you cunts." "Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Smoke me a kipper." But yeah, anyway, there are people listening to this now, hopefully, that are just desperately looking around them because they've heard the word Snatch and Lock, Stock, and they're looking around them for someone to quote it at. But yeah, otherwise, they're very well made films. Yeah. They're entertaining. A rare occasion where Vinnie Jones is a good addition to the cast.
It's been so long. I literally have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Sorry. I remember Brad Pitt. He plays a gypsy guy.
Yeah. How they got Brad Pitt to do that.
I feel like he done a really good job, and that's the only thing I remember from the film.
Yeah. So that's it really. You know, There's something you can try at home. Walk up to any British male and somehow bring into the conversation that I guarantee you they were like, "Fucking hate bikies," because that's the biggest quote of Snatch.
British male.
British, yeah.
Oh, male. Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking you mean the
Yeah, go up to any Royal Mail employee.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, why are you saying British Mail and not Royal Mail?
There we go. That's the Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay, my next film. This was... I don't think this movie remained popular, but it was very popular when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little movie called Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
Very long time ago.
Right. Again, a movie where a guy does nothing and everything happens around him. The only thing he does is he writes a solution to a mathematical equation to a board, and then after that he's not in charge of his life.
I think that was the point, though. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
But I still don't like it. The sentimentality feels very illogical, which I know is like sounds like an oxymoron because being emotional and logical doesn't make sense. But there's like things in it where it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why a person would do this or that. What I mean is the illogical sentimentality is, for example, one thing that was made fun of in Community, where Matt Damon's friend Ben Affleck, who works with him on this construction thing, is like, the best part of my day is looking back and thinking you're not gonna be there. And he's like his best friend. It's like, what a fucking dickhead. It sounds good in terms of like, yeah, what he's trying to say is, oh, I wish you'd be a genius and do genius things.
Yeah.
But he's still a fucking dickhead. This just whole movie doesn't work for me. So Matt Damon is the genius, which also fucking terrible choice. He's like a slag-jawed. He looks dumb. He looks like
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Yeah, he's a terrible choice for this role.
But it's not. That's the point. The point is he's like an everyday looking. I think he's like a construction worker or something, and then he's a genius. That's the point of it.
Don't care that he's supposed to be every man. He doesn't come off as a genius.
I think I remember watching this. I watched it once and I never watched it again because one of those films everyone's so highly rated, and I watched it and I was like, okay,
yeah,
that's all right. It didn't live up to the hype for me at all.
Yeah, I felt like a forced sentimentality as well with the Robin Williams stuff. Like when Robin Williams says like, oh, my wife used to fart a lot, ha 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 ha. And it just doesn't feel, it feels forced.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes a film just isn't good because there's not enough about it to talk about.
Yeah, and also I haven't seen it in a long time. This is one I had to read Wikipedia for. But I do remember specifically, it's just like, everything was just wrong.
Okay.
Everything was just wrong. Like, something was very off about it. To me, it might have been mostly Matt Damon's acting. It probably was. It's terrible. I mean, I remember I watched it first time. I was already like making fun of it when a movie was playing. Like, he doesn't. There's no spark in his eyes. It's just fucking blackness, void. And then it's just something about the writing as well. It's just so overwritten.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the next one is my most hated film.
Whoa.
I think I've ever seen all the way through.
I'm trying to think if you mentioned this before or not.
So it's not The Lighthouse. I got up and walked out of The Lighthouse. I didn't think that was good for this list because it's supposed to be popular films, not high-rated films, not critically rated films.
Also, I'm not going to allow you to judge a movie that you haven't seen through.
Yeah. But I can. Anyway, it's not The Lighthouse. So I've seen all of this film and I just hated it so much. It is Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have just never seen such a terribly self-indulgent attempt to shock an audience about like drugs, and it's just crap. How much do you remember about Requiem for a Dream?
I remember it was effective to me.
Okay.
But it was so effective and so one note in its miserableness.
Yeah.
Then I will never want to watch it again. It's like a feel-bad movie.
Yeah. It is a horrible collection of the most depressing things that somebody could think of.
Yeah.
And not even an intelligent person. It's like the fever dream of a bipolar 15-year-old. It's just shit.
What are you saying about bipolar people?
You know, someone gets their arm amputated, one ends up in a sex show, one ends up...
Eyebrows gets raped.
Their eyebrows get raped.
No, I just forget what the actress name is, so I'm just calling her Eyebrows.
Demi Moore?
No, the younger one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Where someone gets raped, that's... Oh my god, shocking. Yeah, it's just fucking... It's Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky can fuck off. He just makes so shit films that like people put on their shelves to feel artistic.
He's kind of pretentious. I have one movie that I really like from him. It's called The Wrestler. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that. I didn't know that was him, actually.
That was him. And that one's really good. We're going to watch that at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, that one stands out for
I
sure.
cannot imagine I will enjoy that. Yeah, it's just depressing. And not in an intelligent or interesting way. It's just a collection of horrible things that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. I wouldn't agree necessarily that it's a bad film, although I've heard that a lot of the more interesting visuals in it were stolen from an anime called Perfect Blue.
Okay.
I can't verify that. I haven't seen Perfect Blue. So visually, probably it's well made and everything. But yeah, just in terms of subject matter, it's so one note in its depressing nature that it's a one and done kind of film for sure.
I'd rather not give it any more time. Cool. Over to you. Bum, bum, bum.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
E.T.
The only thing I have to show you, a video summarizes my thoughts on this movie, which is the end of the movie where E.T. leaves. It's a very slow scene, and the John Williams score just... There's a video of it where they took out the John Williams score, and it's like the most depressing thing ever. It's just E.T. just like... And it's just slow as fuck and boring as shit.
Hang on a sec. So it's a video where they took the music out of a film.
Yeah.
You think that's...
That's
why it's there. You took the music out of most films and it becomes terrible.
Well, I don't necessarily agree.
Okay.
But I think that this movie leans on it way too hard.
Okay.
If it doesn't work without it, then it doesn't work.
No, that's not true at all.
I think it is.
What's that effect that where, you know, the blank face and people play happy music and sad music and they see his face as... You've told me about it before.
It wasn't about music, but sure. It's Kuleshov effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was more about editing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they do the same thing with music as well. Like if you play happy music over a video, then you get different effects.
Okay.
So that's...
Sure. I just feel like this movie still just leans on it so hard that the movie is 70% music, 30% actual movie.
Okay.
That's what my feelings are. E.T. is ugly, and it looks like something I shed out in an afternoon, and I was scared of it when I was a kid.
But that's the point. You're supposed to be scared because they're scared of it as a kid first, and then they grow to like it. It wouldn't have worked if it was like this fluffy, cute alien or...
I didn't grow to like it.
Okay.
I grew to even dislike it more. Yeah, again, forced sentimentality, kids, kind of happy movie, and again, mostly held up by the music. The music is like the main beam in this house. That's E.T., you know? The music shouldn't be the main beam. The story, the narrative should be the main beam.
Okay. So by that logic, a scene that wouldn't work without the music is Jaws. Imagine Jaws without the dun 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 dun. It wouldn't work.
You see, I disagree with that. I think
Really?
that would work because the editing in Jaws is so good. I think you'd feel the tension without the music.
I don't
as well.
think you would.
And I think that example, the music more complements what's happening instead of just tells you how to feel, you know?
Yeah. Well, no.
Okay.
No, I really feel like that is what builds the tension. That because it gets louder and it gets more...
I think the worried
Double A.
faces and the pace of the editing, and then the music complements that.
But with E.T., you have like child actors.
Yeah.
So you can't expect them to carry the weight of a film purely by their acting ability. Because
No.
it's never going to work.
No, I want the story to carry it, and the story is light as fuck. I don't have much problem in the story. I just... Maybe it is that there were so many clones of E.T. that I saw when I was a kid that I've grown very tired of the formula.
Mm-hmm.
Mac and Me.
Mac and Me, yes.
We have to watch that sometime.
I've watched Mac and Me.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a Mystery Science Theatre 3000 where they sit and they watch Mac and Me. and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so funny. If you get a chance, anyone that's listening, do check out Mystery Science Theater 3000. All of them. I prefer the newer ones, but
The Netflix ones.
the Netflix ones, yeah, because they have some really funny people that I recognise in it.
Yeah, I still think the puppet is a fucking thing from hell. It's gonna torture me when I go down there.
I feel like this is your dislike of this film is nothing film related and more pure fear towards E.T.
It is, and that's you know what? That's justified. That's justified. Everyone should be fucking afraid of that fucking demonic entity.
Do you think, like, at some point, like they've done with Winnie the Pooh, at some point that there'll be like they'll run out of the rights?
Yeah. Well, yeah, in like 150 years after Steven Spielberg does or something.
Yeah, after that film. So it's got to be what? When did E.T. come out? 80s?
80s, yeah.
It's 80 years for the thing to run out.
After his death.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it can't. No, it's not, because Mickey Mouse has been up for.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No,
it
it's
is.
Well,
I'm
Walt
telling you it
Disney
is.
died a while ago.
But no, the original Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Mickey.
Okay.
Because the laws keep changing.
Yeah, because of Disney.
Because Disney keep.
Yeah, but I'm
extending
pretty
them.
sure it's after death, plus 80 years
No, I
or
don't
something.
think it is. I think it's from when it's made. We're just going to talk to the producer.
So I'm correct. I'm recording now that I'm correct.
The producer has just confirmed that it is the life of the author plus 70 years.
Yeah, because Disney kept pushing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Yeah, 80. If there's
E.T.
going to be a 80 horror.
Winnie the Pooh, Love and Honey, but with E.T. Okay, so, I mean, you were just talking a second ago about films that have been done over and over and over again. There's so many rip-offs of E.T. that the original E.T. doesn't really work for you. Yeah. My next film is along them same lines. So this is number 2 on the IMDb top-rated lists of all time. It's The Godfather.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this is probably the best example I have of what I call a legacy film, in that it was the original, a lot like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where it's the original and it's heralded as this amazing film, but there's been so many rip-offs of it, so many things that have been done the same, that when I watched this film, I just knew it. I knew it in and out in the first scene. I think in the first scene of the film, when they're at a wedding, it's clear they're a crime family, and there's a son, Michael, who doesn't want to be part of the family, and it's like, right, he's going to be in charge at the end.
Yeah.
And they're at his brother's wedding, and his brother's kind of like, I'm going to be in charge of that. He's going to die, you know. And by the end of it, everything I predicted happened.
Yeah.
And it took 3 hours. 3 hours of people just sitting around being macho for it all to play out. And I knew it from the start. The only interesting part of that film for me was the wife. Like, how far was the wife going to follow him on this journey into criminalness? And it's just so predictable. I'm sure at the time when it came out, it was new and it was this amazing piece of cinema. But for me, I didn't enjoy it.
It does feel like a movie that was made for like boomers to watch on a Saturday afternoon on an old TV channel.
Yeah.
It's like a dead movie.
I don't like gangster films. I don't enjoy films where the people
That's
are
one
gonna...
overlap we have, I think.
Yeah.
That we don't enjoy just straight up gangster films.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by, this guy's killed that person in the middle of a pizzeria.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a horrible thing to happen. So I watched this film. I went down the top 10. I was attempting to go down the top 10 of IMDb, this top 10 list, and I watched the first 2 and I stopped because I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was not fun for me. How many films do you have left?
I have one more film.
You have one more film. So do I.
It's pretty controversial.
So is mine. I'm worried about the last one, not just because of how much I didn't enjoy it, but because I can't really state why.
Mine is not just that it's popular, but there's like a cult around it.
Okay.
There's a cult of fat 40-year-old guys with beards.
How dare you?
I'm mostly describing me. Just salivating over every detail of this movie that was made with cheap plastic in the 1970s. And terrible dialogue. Terrible acting as well. It's this little movie called Star Wars 1 or 4, The New Hope.
I love the idea, because you just said The New Hope. I love the idea of just comments just streaming in. It's A New Hope, you moron!
Yeah.
You fucking read. Oh, I hate you so much. I'm never boycotting your podcast forever, you motherfucking cunt.
Good and goodbye. I don't give a shit. Oh, where do I start? This is a movie. I don't know how much you know about the behind the scenes.
None at all.
This movie was famously saved in editing. Apparently, the first cut was much more like The Phantom Menace. It's like very boring. One character talks, cut. The other character talks, cut. And it's just very monotone and boring, and there was no pace to it. And there was a famous editor who came in, recut the movie, and that's how it became as it is. And it very much feels like a movie that was saved in editing. Terrible script, terrible acting, terrible directing. And yeah, those pretty much destroyed to me. So I think editing and breakthrough special effects is what saved this movie.
And the sound. And the music. The music is very iconic. It works very well.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And that one where I don't think the movie is held up by the music. I think the movie complements the music.
So yeah, this is a surprising film that I like, because it is very much the first of its kind of film that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. Like that is another film that's been ripped off to death, but I enjoyed the seeing where it started, as opposed to being able to see it and go, oh god, I've seen this before. So I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah. On that note, yes, it is terribly acted. It is badly done.
Except for Harrison Ford. That's kind of like a cheat code, which is like, he's supposed to act like the whole thing is fucking bullshit. So that's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you actually watch, and I don't know if it's in the first one or the second one or the third one or the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, or ninth, but the biggest iconic scene where I am your father. You watch Mark Hamill, it's like, and his face contorts. It's really bad.
That's the fifth one or the second one, depending on when you ask. And I think, in contrast to A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, the second one, is like one of the best movies ever made.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and I think the whole franchise is held up by that movie.
Fair enough. What's your thoughts on the 3rd/6th one?
The 3rd/6th one, the beginning is good, and then it falls apart by the end, for sure.
With the Ewoks.
I didn't mind the Ewoks. It's more like Han Solo and Leia has nothing to do in the movie. They just walk around in the woods, and then, they have to destroy this, like, whatever. Yeah. It's like, that's such an afterthought. But I love the beginning bit when they are Jabba and they have to rescue him. That's almost like a little movie on its own in terms of narratives.
I think that one that has when they rescue Han from the thing, that has my favourite Star Wars quote in it. And nobody knows it, because everything else, bogged down and everything else. It's when he gets rescued, and Han asks Luke, how we doing, kind of thing. And Luke's like, you're normal. And Han's like, that bad, huh?
I don't remember this.
Yeah, I try and use it all the time in my everyday life.
So yeah, I think Empire Strikes Back, one of the best films ever made. Irving Kershner, who directed RoboCop as well. The teacher of George Lucas, which is funny.
Okay.
And then I like the first half of the third one. But the first one, to me, is just a very boring hero's journey story. Which is like the oldest story. It's like goes back to fucking Gilgamesh. So talk about old tropes.
Yeah. There's a meme that I saw online about the end of the first film, where Leia is comforting Luke because Obi-Wan just died. And it says, I just watched my planet get exploded 4 hours ago. Let me comfort you because your Kung Fu master just died.
Yeah. In terms of ideas, there's some cool ideas. Again, some things came out that George Lucas might not be responsible for most of those, but his wife, I don't know how true that is. But the execution is not interesting to me. Luke, again, in the first movie, is one of those characters where everything happens to him and he does fuck all, except at the end, the Force kind of, just in the first movie, contained, it feels like a bullshit explanation to just win this fight. Because they couldn't think of anything else.
Okay.
When it's expanded in the next movie, that's when it gets interesting. So, goodbye, patrons.
Yeah, that's the end of that story. Right, I'm so nervous about this one.
After Star Wars, after I said I hate Star Wars,
Star Wars,
Star Wars.
Because I understand people disliking Star Wars because it's sci-fi, and there's such a massive category of people out there that don't like sci-fi.
Yeah, but Star Wars is a mob. They're gonna fucking lynch me when I post this.
Because it has nothing to do with legacy. It has nothing to do with anything kind of that came after it. I just did not enjoy it as a film, start to finish. And it's number 1 on the IMDb rated list. And I've mentioned it before. I didn't like it. Shawshank Redemption. Okay, Shawshank Redemption. It's just a man who gets falsely imprisoned, gets raped a lot, and then escapes.
Yeah.
End of plot. So some things, I did say that this isn't much to do about legacy, but first of all, it's, Morgan Freeman doing his best impression of a creaky door. I first met Andy Dufresne when I was going to the thing. That in itself is a cliche now. Having a Morgan Freeman voiceover means that your film is good. Sure, why not? Zach Braff is learning currently the hard way that that's not the case, because he has got a voiceover film. He's just, as recording of this, he's just released A Good Person, which is doing terribly.
I had a weird mixture of things when you said that. Like, was Zach Braff in Shawshank Redemption?
His character from Scrubs
turns
up.
Like, what if we played music from the music room? That's one scene from the Shawshank Redemption, I remember.
Yeah.
They play Mozart, sneak into the room where the tenor is, and they play Mozart.
There's a lot of things that don't really make sense to me in this. He digs a hole through the wall behind his poster. There's no way that, first of all, are they allowed posters? Are they allowing people in American prisons to have the bedrooms of 13-year-olds with posters on the wall? And second of all, it would billow, like if you cut a big hole in a wall that leads to outside, that's gonna billow. What is that held onto the wall with?
He doesn't break out immediately. It takes him years, right?
Yeah, but that's my point.
So
Breeze
doesn't come out at first, and I'm sure after he breaks out, he does leave very soon after that, right?
Well, he's got to cut the hole through the wall. Yeah. Then he's got to cut through the sewer pipe. Then he climbs through the sewer pipe out into the rain.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's it. I remember that. Yeah, the scene where he's... He doesn't do that.
I did it.
No, but if you cut a hole through a wall, even if it's into the next room, as people open and close doors, open windows and stuff, and over the years that it takes for him to do that, that poster's falling off the wall at some point. At some point, someone's going to notice, look, there's a big fucking hole in the wall.
Don't you think that's very nitpicky?
No.
I feel like it does fall into that category.
I don't feel it's nitpicky, because it's a prison break. That's the point of the film. He's trying to escape from prison.
Prison Break is the point of Prison Break with Clint Eastwood, or Escape from Alcatraz. I think that is more about the drama in Shawshank Redemption. I don't think the point is escaping.
But he just has a horrible time.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand, is it supposed to be kind of inspirational that he gets through this and comes out the other side of it?
Yeah.
I didn't really get that.
I think so. It's overcoming strong injustice.
Yeah.
Then again, I haven't seen it in a long time.
I haven't seen it in a long time either.
One thing I remember not liking about this movie is the constant narration, which has become my least favorite way to tell a story in films.
Yeah.
It feels a bit lazy at some points. It's a visual medium, that's why the narration itself is pretty tacky at this point.
Yeah. Like I say, none of the emotional points just hit home for me. Mm-hmm. When he escapes, it's okay, you've escaped. You're probably going to get caught again. He doesn't, but he probably would. I didn't really understand, he escapes, but how does he get anywhere or do anything? Or, how does he have this life planned for himself when he gets out?
When does this take place? Do you remember? Is
I don't.
It early 1900s, if I feel like?
No.
It's not modern times.
I thought it was set around the time that it was released.
I don't think so.
In the 80s or something.
I don't think so. It feels very old schoolish, the prison uniforms and stuff.
Yeah, but...
because that would give you an explanation. Because, let's say, if it takes place in early 1900s, then it is easy to reintegrate to society, because you don't have fucking internet, you don't have police networks, things like that. Just change your appearance and you're good to go.
So my producer's just telling me that it was set in 1947 and it was released in 1995.
Okay.
So after 28 years in prison, that's when he escaped in 1975.
Okay, alright, that's harder. But still not impossible thing to create a new identity out of that. He washes dishes and then gets paid in cash, and that's his life. I feel like you're a bit nitpicky in that as well.
Kind of. I understand you think it's nitpicky, but like that's how he escapes.
Mm-hmm.
Without him escaping, the film doesn't work, and the method in which he escapes doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah, that's all I have to say, really, about the Shawshank Redemption. And again, I probably went into it with my expectations raised really high. Because, like I said, I did watch this, same as I watched The Godfather, as an attempt to watch the most popular films of all time.
Yeah.
And although, you know, it's okay as a film, it is not the best film of all time.
What do you think about The Green Mile, which is the same director, and I think it's better?
I loved The Green Mile.
Yeah.
I thought it was a brilliant film. And I agree, it is better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And then The Mist, that's the one everyone hated.
The Mist.
It's more of a low-budget film, but it's another Stephen King adaptation of The Mist. There's like a mist that covers everything, and there's like creatures in it. People gather in this like supermarket, and that's where the whole movie takes place, pretty much. It's really good.
Do you have any other mentions? Anything else that you want to kind of...
There was a lot of movies that I didn't agree where they are in the list.
Yeah,
Or
I
if
agree.
they even should be on the list. Like Avengers Endgame.
Do you feel that should be higher up the list, or do you feel it
Lower.
should be not on the list?
Maybe not even on the list.
What?
Yeah,
I thought you liked Endgame.
I did like it.
I thought you said it was perfect in terms of...
No. You mix up with Infinity War.
Right.
I think Infinity War deserves to be there. Infinity War is the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. You Marvel boy.
Yeah, I was
don't
trying
know.
to figure out which way around it was.
Yeah, the first one. I was thinking of that movie as the Thanos movie.
Yeah.
So that one works way better. And the Endgame just feels like fan service explosion, which is fair enough because it caps a huge franchise. But I wouldn't put it on the fucking IMDb top 250.
I definitely would.
And
that's in my top 10 of all time.
And in terms of like battle and how they look, I hate that it's like it takes place in this murky, terrible brown environment. That's like a big Marvel problem sometimes, where they pick a fight where it's just a terrible idea for a scene. Like in Civil War when they fight on the airplane tarmac, like it's just grey and visually boring as shit. In Endgame when everything's murky and grey.
Okay.
Yeah. Dark Knight, I wouldn't put it that high.
I would put that really high. Again, that would be in my top 10
Yeah.
all time, yeah. Dark Knight Rises is also on the list, and that's stupid, because that should not be there at all.
Yeah, I told you before, that's a movie I actually like, but it is stupid that it's on there. But I personally like Dark Knight Rises, but it's a mess of a movie for sure.
And number 132, I don't know if you've seen it, but John Wick Chapter 4 is there.
Fuck off. Thank you for listening if you're still listening.
Yes, so first off, we'd like to apologise if one of your favourite films was on this list.
Yeah. The next podcast is sponsored by Disney. Come see Star Wars Baby Yoda, the Star Wars story. Yoda's teenage years.
But Baby Yoda's not actually Yoda, right?
I know, but I was just doing terrible improv.
It's Grogu.
It's Grogu, yeah.
Again, light up the comments.
Yeah.
It's not Baby Yoda, it's Grogu. You fool.
Yeah, is the Mandalorian, is that a Jedi? Is the Mandalorian, is he a Jedi?
No.
Is he a Jedi religion?
No, he has his own religion, but it's not the Jedi religion.
Okay. The Jedi, they have the laser swords, right?
Outro. Anyway, right, yeah. So, again, we would like to apologise if we have insulted one of your favourite films. We hope that you're still listening at this point. If you disagree with us, feel free to comment. And while you're doing that, feel free to hit the like and subscribe. And there is a Patreon available for just $1 a month, which you already have because you're listening to this episode.
Or about to cancel. Yeah, I would just like to say, if you don't like any of my opinions, fuck off.
yeah. Actually, forget the comments. We do not want comments.
No, thank you for listening. I'm just being a funny boy, a funny boy.
Thank you for listening, and this is goodbye from Rick.
And then Yell. Bye.
See you next time.
Yep.